Hi y'all, I'm Mike Peace. Welcome to my shop for another moment of peace where I BS a little bit about wood turning and tell you a little bit about what's going on in my wood turning world without actually turning a project. Sometimes I respond to viewer comments and sometimes I answer questions, and if I don't have the answer to that question, I can probably make up something. You know, if something is important to you, you tend to talk a lot about it. I talk a lot about wood turning because it is a very important part of my life, and I do enjoy it. Part of my life I don't talk about as much as the church side. I'm active in my church. I'm not a preacher and I'm not here to evangelize, but I want to show you some of the kinds of wood turning activities that are related to my church. First, we have baby rattles. I give one to every couple in my church with a new baby. I belong to a small church with an aging congregation, so this is not a huge time commitment. Angel ornaments. I regularly turn and give away a shoebox full to a ladies' Christian retreat that occurs a couple of times a year, except for the past 2 years because of COVID, so I've got a few boxes on the shelf. Chalice and paten. I've turned these for pastors in my church for giving communion. Using a wood communion set is acceptable in my denomination, but not in some others. So what's a chalice? Well, a chalice is a goblet used for religious purposes, and a paten is a little round plate used to hold communion wafers or bread for communion. Crosses. Longtime viewer Don Lyons, who passed away from cancer, sent me this cross. It's simple. They're simple to make, and they make. I make small gift turnings for guest speakers when the pastor's away, as well as gifts to committee members who generally given of their time on work at the church. These tend to be change bowls, coffee scoops, boxes, pens, and etc. Offering plates. I turn these out of kiln-dried red oak, and we actually use these in our church service. I turned a couple of bishop chess pieces for the pastor to give when we might have a church bishop visit. I do gifts for charity auctions inside and outside the church. In addition, for religious holidays, there's a few specific turnings, such as Easter eggs. These are fun, easy projects to turn, and so when each Easter approaches, I tend to turn some of these to give away. Christmas tree ornaments, they're always a hit. There's a wide variety of them. I turned a couple of these nativity figures. These are a lot of fun, got a lot of moving parts to it. I count my blessings every day. In the wood turning area, I count as a blessing the resources and time that I have to do this wonderful hobby that we all enjoy. Sometimes it's easy to take too much pride in our accomplishments instead of crediting our Creator who's given us those spiritual gifts or talents. I don't count myself as having any special talent, but I do work hard. Let me mention a somewhat new feature that YouTube has added called chapters. And it's a feature that makes it easier to identify sections of a video for jumping ahead or perhaps rewatching. Go to what some folks call the show notes and click at the end of the abbreviated description where it has 3 dots and the word more, and you'll see the show notes for my newer videos. I haven't gone back and tried to clean up all my old videos because I do have 630 videos out there now. I started my YouTube channel 9 years ago. I've been watching all of Sam Angelo's videos on thread chasing, and he was one of my first subscribers. You may know Sam as the Wyoming wood turner. There's a saying that to teach is to learn twice, and I've become a much more knowledgeable wood turner as a result of making these wood turning videos. And wood turning has allowed me to meet a lot of y'all at various wood turning events, such as the recent symposium in Chattanooga or at SWAT, and I really enjoyed the opportunity to speak with some of y'all, and I gotta say it's a bit of a thrill to be, quote, micro famous, that is well known in a very tiny little niche. I make videos because I enjoy making videos. I enjoy the planning and creative process, and I enjoy the comments from you guys. I have a filter setting on my on YouTube that identifies comments that I especially need to review. It might be profanity or it might be words that signal flag it potentially as spam. I appreciate comments that are especially focused in on things where I need to improve. I enjoy the attaboys as well, but I don't take as criticism comments that deal with camera angle, the camera, whether I need a close-up view or sound quality issues. To the contrary, I'm always looking for room for improvement, and every now and then I've had somebody identify, an early viewer that identified some major editing boo-boo that was so significant that I had to immediately take the video down and redo it to edit out either a blank space or sound that was just so bad that for whatever reason I didn't catch it. So I do appreciate y'all comments, and I don't take those as criticism. I consider it feedback, and I think feedback is important to us for improving, whether you're a video creator or whether you're a woodturner. Other than spam or profanity, I generally don't edit comments. You know, everybody's got an opinion, and I don't have a problem with it, whether you disagree with me or agree with me. While it happens, generally on woodturning videos, we don't have folks that are considered trolls posting really nasty comments. What is trolling? Well, in scientific literature, internet trolling is defined as a malicious online behavior characterized by aggressive and deliberate provocation of others. Trolls seek to provoke, upset, and harm others via inflammatory messages and posts. So that just doesn't happen much. But let me share one with you where it did. I was wearing this t-shirt. It was a bargain I picked up at a thrift store for a couple of bucks, and you know us woodturners tend to be kind of frugal. Well, one viewer saw me wearing this in a video and posted the following comment. I didn't get much from this video. I kept thinking about the t-shirt you were wearing. In the beginning, God. Can you give us a presentation on your expertise in astrophysics? I would like to know why God made dark matter, dark energy, and when he did so. I'd also like to see the math behind your analysis. At what university did you get your astrophysics doctorate? Okay, so I blocked him from ever posting on my channel. That means he can write all the comments he wants, and he thinks they're going to show up, but he's the only one that'll ever see them. I very much doubt that he was a real woodturner. He was just a troll. Okay, now for a few viewer comments. Daniel Brown asks, do you have a video where you address the set screw used to prevent the chuck from unthreading itself when running the lathe in reverse? Is that really needed? I have a Nova G3 chuck and that set screw is leaving marks on the quill. I'd like to not use it if it's not really necessary. Or should I put a small piece of rubber or something under the set screw? But that would be a hassle every time I change the chuck. Sounds like a great idea for a tip video, Daniel. Thanks for the suggestion. I've never used a set screw to tighten the chuck onto the spindle. My largest chuck, a Nova Titan, will unscrew if I turn off the lathe, because there's an electrical brake to slow it down fast. My experience, and it also depends on smaller jaws. You can have that same effect. You got a large bowl on there because it's a question of mass and inertia once that thing starts spinning when you turn it off. For most of my projects, which is frequently a lot of small spindle projects, it's almost never an issue. But one way I've learned to resolve it without a set screw is just dial down the speed indicator instead of hitting the off switch, and it hasn't been a problem. And then he has a follow-up question. Do you have any problem with sanding in reverse? Seems like there'd be a chance that sanding could put enough resistance to unscrew it. Or have you heard of anyone having that problem? But you say that you don't use a set screw. I think that I'll try mine without one for a while and see how it goes. I don't want to advise anyone not to use a set screw. I think you got to do what you feel like is safe for you. And what works for me may not work for you with your particular chuck and your projects. I don't sand in reverse because personally for me I just don't feel like, I understand the theory, but I don't seem to get that much benefit out of it, so I don't bother with it. Bill DeMint asks, how about some jigs for grinding bowl gouges, scrapers, skews, etc. to the desired angles? Boy, that sounds like another great idea for a video, and I actually have one, a script drafted. I just got to get to it. But thanks for nudging me, Bill. Eric Eugene Rush says, Mike, do you watch your entire video before uploading? I don't remember which video this was, and he was nice enough to point out the specific points, 1635 and 1842 and after. Eric, obviously not. Thanks for catching the extra scraps at the end where I was able to trim it out. Again, I appreciate that specific kind of feedback, because sometimes I can actually tweak the video within YouTube. Other time, if it's a really bad boo-boo, I've got to take it down and redo it, and I really appreciate y'all catching that early. Paul Mellinson asks, where or how do you do the black etchings on your tool handle? Eric is talking about this, what they call fractal burning. I probably should replace his handle, so I don't encourage people to even think about that. It's a very dangerous technique. I've given up on it. I've taken down my videos. To date, there's been over 50 wood turners killed using this type of process. Usually because they're using microwave transformers. They don't know what they don't know. They don't realize how dangerous it is. They don't have safety mechanisms. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. Rex B, glad to hear the review on this one, Mike. Have a question for you. Had multiple surgeries in the past month and haven't been able to get out to the shed studio. Here in Florida, the rust can take over. What can I do, as it covered the bandsaw table and one small section of the lathe? I sprayed the lathe with WD-40 before the operations. And the tool rest is also rusted. Thank you for the suggestions and life experience. I like the God is good sign. Appreciate that very much, Rex. Ken Sherwin beat me to the punch. He says use T9 as a rust preventative, not WD-40. And that's a product, let me get a can, called Shield T9, and it's a wax type of product for waterproofing and lubrication developed by Boeing company. I've had this can now for, gosh, probably 15 years. I don't use it a lot, but it is a great product. You can either put it in light and wipe it off, or if you're not going to be using your cast iron for a while, put on a heavy coat and just leave it. And but paste wax can work well too. Just put a good thick coat of paste wax on it and buff it down. Maybe put another little coat on it if you're not going to be out in his shop for a while. I'm just real blessed to have an air-conditioned shop year-round, so I don't really need to worry much about rust. I appreciate y'all's comment. Just a reminder, I do give lessons in my shop. If you're in the Atlanta area or visiting the Atlanta area, feel free to contact me. Contact information is on my YouTube channel and also in my Woodturning channel. You can either call me or write me. And remember, y'all stay safe. Come on back here.